Hey everybody, it's Tuesday.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Night Bite.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Emily.
And I'm Fisher.
We were just talking about him before the show. He has certainly kind of made himself part of these little events here. So thank you, Fisher, for joining us. Thank you to everybody at home who's joining us, because you guys are always a huge part of the fun. We do always tend to start out with a fishing report. And so I think we are going to do that.
Keep going.
We just got an error message on our side. I'm sure it'll just be fine. These things tend to work themselves out. So anyways, we do tend to start with the fishing report. So where do we start?
You tell me. I didn't catch any fish this weekend.
Okay, I didn't say it. I did not say it. I can't say it's not true though. You did catch fish though.
Yeah, I caught the same 4-inch bluegill about 8 times.
And then the best crappie of the day.
Yes. I did.
It was true. It was true. But then you're just like ... I'm like waiting for you to finish your statement there. But I mean, I guess we did go out in the boat and we found temperatures just right around and right below 40 degrees. I feel like didn't have that much time in the boat despite spending both weekend days out there. Just the dark, it comes so fast. And then it gets cold. And honestly, I think just the way the weather patterns are working out, it was not like the fall bite. It was like fall bite where you really had to grind it out. And we found, I guess Saturday we did a little bit better. Sunday, I guess we did okay. We were finding structure. I don't know, fish are in winter patterns.
Yeah, we were finding fish over deep basins. You know, we were fishing maybe 10 to 15 feet over basins that are 50 feet deep. So the fish were just floating around out there. Used electronics, got on them. Used the AquaView a ton this weekend, just to make sure that what we were seeing was what we wanted to see. And yeah, small plastics, small jigs. Yeah, the one crappie I caught all weekend, I caught on a float. Just letting a little minnow plastic sit out there. So, you know, you never know. It's one of my favorite things, especially this time of year when everything's slow. You just let it float around out there and you never know.
That is absolutely true. Because honestly, the difference between what I was doing and what Josh was doing, it has to be luck. It has to be just hand. It just has to be.
I put her on the fish.
No, because we were spot lock, but we have Gen 1 spot lock, and so our spot lock is pretty generous as far as spot or lock, either of those things. But you know, it ultimately did work out, because Sunday at least we did not have that much wind. And the magic pattern, if I were to have to settle on one, it was like a tiny few little jigs and then a dead stick, just a dead stick presence. And so I don't know, I did have a little red Widowmaker. It was their long shank metallic tungstens. I think you said size 4. I always want to call it size 3, but it was the bigger one. And honestly, in a shocking turn of events, well, because this is the thing, I've had that jig on that hook for
a long time, like years.
I don't know if it's like that long, but the number of fish I've caught on it, the number of trees that I've gotten snagged, the number of any of those different things. And I've always gotten that hook back. And in this one instance, I honestly, the hook broke. And I hate to admit that on live TV. That's not quite this way, you know, but I hate to admit that to everybody, because they're a great company. They're great products. And it's honestly the first time that has ever happened to me. And I was shocked. But the funny thing about that, it was my last one of those jigs. It was my very last one. So thank goodness there's Ice Expos coming up, because I'm going to need to refill.
Yeah, it was, it was straight up winter patterns. You know, they didn't want much movement. The boat moving around even a little bit, they didn't like it. The water was 38.5 to 39 degrees. We had some other comments on some of our photos that echoed that, you know, within our area of north central Wisconsin, water temps between 38 and 40 degrees. So that's about as cold as it gets before it freezes. So
That's true. We did break through ice on Sunday, but by the afternoon it melted anyway, so I
so
didn't
we
feel
didn't
bad
wreck it.
because it'll refreeze. But
Mhm.
that is the time of year that this is. So let us know where you're at. Let
Yeah.
us know, maybe you have ice, or maybe it's just starting to form, or maybe you are still hitting open water. So let us know what that looks like for you. And if you know water temperature, let us know where that is at,
Mhm.
because I am hoping the trend is closer to freezing than not.
Yeah.
Right. But with that, we've got to cut to the chase here, because our guest is one of our favorite people, to be honest. So let's bring her into the show. Welcome, Sarah
Hey,
from
Sarah.
Lakewood Products. Welcome.
Hello, my people.
I'm like awkwardly like, welcome, Sarah, like Lakewood. And like, I don't even know how to announce you, because I think honestly, like,
No, it's
you
good.
go to a show, you go to an expo, and like Lakewood itself has a huge, awesome presence. There's a great booth, but like people come and also see Sarah. I mean, that's one of the
Yep.
things about coming to the expo. So thank you for being here.
I guess. I mean, I think the product's way better than me, but we do try to have a good time. And it's great to have the people come in, and they're just like family, and they share stories and talk about the kids, and they talk about the case they bought last year and where the case has been. And so it's a good time.
And it's funny because it's more than just cases from year to year, right? These last a little bit longer than year to year.
It is. We make such a good product. It's like the people come back and talk about it, but they don't buy more because they're set. It works. But no, they do. We do have a lot of repeat customers, and it's a pretty loyal fan base. And so it's kind of great to see just how the brand's evolved. I mean, even since you guys have come on board, I mean, just what we've done and brand awareness and growing, and the sky's the limit. We're just going to kind of keep going.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for people who maybe have never heard of Lakewood Products at all, and I guess that's funny for me because now I know and love your products so much. It's like I can't even imagine, right? But can you give us like start with a high overview? What is Lakewood Products?
So Lakewood Products is a Wisconsin company. Started, I think we figured like 30 some years ago. Originally started with like bow cases and muskie boxes, and then we've kind of evolved from there. So we are a hard case with a soft exterior. Is kind of what we're known for. And we started, everybody in the fishing world knew us for muskie. And so it's been muskie, muskie, muskie until probably about the last 5 years. And now we've really branched out into walleye, the bass world. We do bow cases, gun cases, and what we're going to be talking about is ice fishing.
Okay, I now see that you purposely left that example for the end because I was waiting there. You said muskie, and I was like, yeah, they are known for that. And I was like, but in my opinion, like the number two thing that you guys have been known for, well, besides hunting, because to be honest, I'm not as much of a hunter as Josh is, right? So maybe you know more than that. But I mean, as far as the fishing world, muskie, that's number one. But number two, I mean, that ice fishing presence. I mean, you guys have a lot to offer for the ice fishing world.
Yeah, we've really expanded that. I mean, it's gone from just a simple rod case to now variations of rod cases, jig and wrap cases, different types of storage, utility box storage. We have a couple people, one of them I think is listening. I see his little comment there, who they'll make shuttle boxes, and just they take our product, and it's just so versatile on what you want to do and how you want to set it up.
Gosh, okay. So I almost want to say, well, I don't know. I don't know if this is a fair question. I was going to ask if you had a favorite ice fishing product. Because I was going to say, where do we start? Like, let's talk about a few of these options.
So I am relatively new to the whole ice fishing world, coming from Idaho 4 years ago. Almost 5 years ago. Wow. Almost 5 years ago. And
Idaho
so
has good ice fishing now.
it does. And Cascades there. And you know, what's funny is I never fished Cascade until I moved here. And then I drove 30 hours back to go fish it. Like what? But I guess during the winter out west, I spent most of my time riding snowmobiles and hunting mountain lions. And that was kind of the thing we did in the winter where I was at. So I moved here to the Midwest. Obviously, lifestyles are different. Everybody's like, you have to ice fish. And I'm like, you want me to go on the ice? Like, this is new to me. And so I'm still learning. But with the little bit I do get to get out and do between shows, I would have to say my favorite ice fishing case that we have is the greenback. And the reason for that is if I was to just dive in and need something for myself, that can go right on a machine and it's going to house everything I need. I can throw it into a sled, drag it out myself, and I'm not forgetting things because that's what started me with Lakewood long before I worked with them is I shot competitive archery and the bow case literally saved my life, to the point of not forgetting releases, not forgetting just other components. I could put tools in to fix things. So with that greenback, it's kind of the same concept. So I would say that's my favorite right now.
That's a really interesting, I guess, concept. I didn't think about it that way. So I don't know. I appreciate your perspective because, okay, like full disclosure, it is not my favorite case, and that's okay though because
Yeah.
that is why there are so many options, right? That's why
Right.
because there's something for everybody. But I love your theory about it being kind of an all-in-one case. So if you're the kind of person who can put that, on your sled, on your whatever, wherever you are, bring that out there. It does have a spot, a nook, a cranny for, your tackle, your rods, your everything that you're bringing out there. And one of my favorite features is actually in the very front of the case. There's like a zip
The
front.
garage.
Yes, the garage. Okay, tell us about this.
So that's what I love about it because I always end up going with people to fish just because I'm just, like I said, it's relatively new to me. And so people will call and they'll be like, go here, go there. What's cool about the garage is you can literally put everything in there. Sandwiches, snacks, because I'm big on snacks. You can put the vault in there for all your jigging wraps and spoon storage. You can throw wallets in there. It literally houses everything. And then what I like too is I don't have to break down my rods and reels with that case. You just set them in there and then I'm good to go.
So what I was pointing to on this other screen is to see if Josh can pull it up. And he's already got it good to go here. So we'll let it load for a quick second. And then there it is.
Oh, look at him go. Look at him.
So give us a high level overview, like move that mouse a little bit. And so this is exactly the greenback that Sarah's talking about.
That is the greenback. Yep.
Yeah.
And
And so you have, yeah, go ahead.
No, and so with it, you guys have the traditional rod cases. A lot of people have known about their traditional rod cases, and people wanted a case for just literally putting everything in it. So with that, you can go 6 to 8 rod and reel combos. You're not going to have to break them down. I have seen guys get about 10 to 12 in there. Don't ask me how. It would freak my OCD out. Hi guys, I see your comments. Hello, everybody. But yeah, so you just drop them in, you go. And what is amazing is the foam is customizable. So if you're running whatever combos your setup is, or if you're changing things and out depending on the time of year and what's going on, it's super cool to be able to take those little foam pieces. I'm pointing at the screen like everybody can see me, like that was dumb. But you just pick them up and you adjust them with the rods. And then go down to the garage. Go to the garage. That right there. That's amazing. I mean, you just have so much storage, so much storage. But it is a big case. And so that doesn't fit everybody's style all the time. It is a heavier case. I would not recommend just throwing it on your shoulder and going for a hike and hole hopping. You're definitely going to want like a sled or a machine. That's kind of what that was designed for. But ironically, it has become our bestseller besides the vault for ice fishing gear.
I really do like it. So we have one that we keep all of our snare rods in. And so one of the things that I like about it is that I can put all those snare rods in there. I can keep all of the snare rod stuff together. And because Emily and I move a lot. So if you've never been fishing with Emily and I, ice fishing with Emily and I, we rarely fish together in the same shack. Like we both have one angler shacks and we like go separate directions and we're like checking all over the place. So we don't normally have the greenback with us, but what I like about it is for ice camping or when we do have late season when we're targeting fish with live bait and stuff. And this is great because I can have all that contained. I know where all that stuff is and it doesn't move all season. And if I do want to bring it with, I just put it in the pickup.
Yep.
Like you said, the garage is awesome. I really like that you guys thought to make a space for the vault, because the vault is something that I always have with. It is one of those things that can be a little annoying to pack just because it's an in-between size, right? So it's like not very big, but it's not very small. And that's great because you fit a lot of like my jigging wraps and all that kind of stuff in there. But it just sometimes is awkward to try and place somewhere, so you end up setting it on top. This way you can put this in the bottom of your otter sled, put the vault inside of it, and then you can stack stuff on top of it. Because just like any of the other cases that Lakewood has, you can like stand on this thing. So
yeah,
it's like, so you can pack on top of this. It makes a really nice flat base. And so it's really great for organizing like just your whole sled, and then stuff doesn't bounce out because it's awkwardly sitting on top of each other. So yeah, that's what I like about it.
No, and speaking of bouncing, we had a couple customers come up to us at the Sioux Falls show, and one guy was so proud to come tell us that his greenback flew off his four-wheeler going about 50 miles an hour coming off the ice at night, and he said it bounced and bounced hard to the point that he was scared to open it, and he was like, everything was fine. And he goes, and everything was still in place. He goes, but it flew.
He's like almost disappointed that it wasn't. He's like, I was so ready for it to be broken.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's become a very, very popular case. It does hold the longer rods. Up to 44 inches is your internal storage on it. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. And then with the customization of the foam, you can go shorter and they're not going to fall and get slopped around as well. So that is one of our ice fishing cases. So for sure.
Well, and so, we talked about the garage door, the front of that greenback. And there was a few little things in that. But one of them that you both referenced was the vault. So Josh, if that's not what you're opening up, I think that this is a really great, I guess, segue to one of the next pieces, because you said that it was really popular. So tell us about, what do people love about the vault other than that it fits in the greenback and that's fun?
Yeah, that one we struggled, or I should say the Lakewood family, the consumer, everybody out there kind of struggled with a place to put jig and wraps. And we talked about different things. We tried different things. This case almost got cut. We weren't going to do it. We tested it for a while. It was turning into a nightmare, just how things were working. It just wasn't doing what it needed to do. It went through extensive testing. And then all of a sudden we put a bunch of our brains together, and lo and behold, our laser cutter who works there in Lakewood, who cuts all the ABS plastic, helped all of us come up with how to do the patent pending hook slots, the lure saver hook slots, because there is a true, scientific background to how those lures have to sit in there to be able to stay as they're traveling without, coming out. Now, I always tell people, is it 100% foolproof? No. I mean, you're going to get a couple lures that like to party and do their own thing, but for the most part, they're going to stay put. So we originally started with the medium-sized vault. That was our OG vault. And then we had the crappie and panfish people wanting to go smaller. They wanted shorter. And then we had our bass people and some of the walleye guys wanted taller. So we now offer 3 sizes to it. But the most popular, especially for ice fishing, since that's kind of what we're discussing, is the medium. You can fit, I believe, 88 lures in there. So it's a great way to hang all of those. They're not going to get damaged. And what a lot of the people are now doing, you can order extra dividers. So I know in the pictures, you can kind of see the additional slots. They come out. And so some people will run half jig and wraps, and they'll order the extra dividers, scoot them closer together, and run a bunch of spoons. So this is another case that has just really been versatile. People are loving it. And it's turned into a top seller for open water and ice fishing.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of crossover with ice fishing baits too, so that makes it a really cool something that Emily and I like to bring up on the channel a lot is cross seasonal gear where you can use one thing in open water and transition it to ice and back over to open water, and the case follows suit with the baits, and that's really cool that you guys kept that in mind because it is frustrating sometimes when you have something for ice fishing and then you don't have a way to get it into your boat besides just taking it out and bringing it with you, and then it's like ends up in a box just rattling around. So it is really nice. I really like the mesh bottom.
Yeah.
Just because it keeps everything from being rusty. And the other thing that isn't talked about enough with this style of bait hangers, and it's something that the bass world has known and the muskie world has known for a long time, is that it keeps your hook sharp because
Yes.
they're not banging up against each other all the time, and it keeps your paint good because the hooks aren't scratching up the paint and they're not getting dulled. So it's really nice. It's just a really nice system altogether.
No, we kept it the size to the footprint of it is the size of a 3700 utility box. So exactly what you said is you make an investment, it's going to last you a lifetime because they come with the lifetime warranty on them. So now you can take it from the hard water to the open water. You can turn it with the mesh bottom. It's going to allow that airflow, drop it into your boat compartment, and you can use it year round.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and while you were talking about lifetime guarantee and these awesome products and all of that, that this is also, I guess, to me, even more impressive because this is all made right here in Wisconsin.
Yes, that is one thing the owner has been very, very proud of. We've tried through all the ups and downs of the world, to keep it right here. So you can come into the plant. I mean, don't just walk in. We don't just do public tours, but if you came into the tour, and kind of walked the plant and looked around, you'll see the girls sewing the fabric together. You'll see the fabric cutter. You'll see the laser in the back cutting the sheets of ABS. The ABS come from here in America. We try to source as many components as we possibly can to keep it American made. So it's not just being built here, but everything else that goes with it is there as well. And because they've evolved and they're so tough, we can put the lifetime manufacturer defect warranty on them. So the way I explain that to people is if you hook one of these up to the back of your four-wheeler, drag it down the road, we're not going to cover that. But if it's just you're using it and one of these dividers breaks, let's say the stitching falls apart on your bag, and we look at the photos, there's kind of a process we go through. We'll look at that. And if it's truly something where it's our mistake, we'll fix it. And we've even gone as far as people have called and said, hey, I ran my boat case over. We'll still fix them. I mean, we really try to take care of people if they're honest and tell us what happened to the case. And sometimes there might be like small fees, whatever. But our main thing is just to get the case back out there and keep it going because they do last a lifetime. I mean, we've got muskie guys who have some of the old wooden interior boxes still. I don't know if anybody's seen any of those. They are still going strong.
That's really cool to hear a little bit about that evolution because, like, I knew but they were made here and about the guarantee and all that. But I mean, it is really cool. I mean, I think one time we were with you at a Battle on Bago event, and I think you had gotten a photo from somebody, or did they stop it? I can't remember how it worked, but they had like a really old case, and they were just still so proud to be using it, like how well it was holding up. But you had made an interesting point about how like the logo only changes every so often, and so that's part of how like you guys behind the scenes like know what year class it's from and all that. I thought that was genius because as a consumer, I never would have noticed that. Oh, they just change with the times. But like what a cool like tracking system.
Yeah, it's kind of nice because it's funny. You'll get the guy because we all lose track of time. And so they'll email in, hey, I've had this case for a couple of years, the zipper isn't working anymore. And so we look at it and we're like, gosh, only a couple of years. Send us the pictures. We look at it and it's like, ooh, that case is actually over 15 years old. But yeah, send it in and we'll fix your zipper.
Oh my gosh, that's actually really awesome. So as we're talking along, if people have any questions or anything, definitely put that in that comment section and we will talk about that as well. But there are so many other favorites here.
Well, I have
Um,
to ask you guys, what
oh,
is your favorite Lakewood ice fishing case?
just ice fishing or just any in general?
Ice fishing.
What's yours?
Well, so it probably has to go between two. So I generally, just because of the style of fishing that I do, I don't normally have a case of lures like I do for open water, right? So I don't have like a standalone case that I bring with me. It's a lot of little jig boxes and stuff like that. But I think last year, it would have probably been the lure wallet. And that's another cross. I know it's probably not the most like flashy or expensive thing that you guys make. It's honestly like totally candid. I did not think that I would like this very much, and you said, just try it out. You know,
Just try it
just
out.
grab one and we'll use it. And since then, I've probably purchased at least two every year since because they just are so useful. And speaking of cross seasonal equipment, I end up putting like I have one for stinger hooks. I have one for my hair jigs. I have one for my spoons. I have one that I keep all so in addition to the vault, I'll keep one of these with me. And this is what I put in my bib pocket for when I'm taking out
Yeah.
like a shad wrap or a jigging wrap or something, and I want like two or three of them with me, but I don't want to carry the vault with me. That's what I put in my pocket. And it's great. This is a great picture too because it just shows like all of the random things that you want to put in your pocket that you don't want like stabbing into your leg or like catching on your suit. So you can grab it from all your different boxes and all your little jig boxes and put it into one place. They won't move around. They're like sandwiched. It's like awesome. But so like the lure wallet's awesome. I really like the medium and the small sizes. The large size I have like two, I think, for like some of the bigger walleye stuff for spring. But I think the challenger for this year's
It's
favorite
funny you
is
said that because that one is really gaining.
well, hold on here. What did you just say?
I was like, uh-oh. No, I'm still here.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. No, that's okay. Can you hear us?
Gotta love technology.
Okay, what did you say that we missed the end of what you said?
Uh-oh.
I think she was about to tell us that other people loved the wallet as much as you do. Let's
Yeah.
let her, we'll give her a minute to come back in because that's how internet works, is we fade in and out. But what I like about that lure wallet, I know you've already moved on to point two of what you were going to say, and that's funny.
Yeah.
But I love that lure wallet because I
Okay.
try to keep an empty one. Because like you were saying, that smaller version does fit in your ice fishing pocket. And so that small one, I put that in my pocket, and then it's my version of like how I organize myself through the day as I'm fishing. And so what I mean by that is, I'm not going to just carry around 300 rods. And some people like to do that, but like, I don't know, I'm too mobile. We have two people's worth of stuff and a dog and a million other things. Oh, Sarah's logging back in. Are you live?
Yeah, that was so weird. I'm like, hello, where did I go?
Oh,
Then I
that's so
could
funny.
hear like people.
Okay, hold on one second because I'm about to finish a point, and then we'll come back to what we missed from you, though.
Yeah.
So I keep this lure wallet, though, empty in my pocket because then what you can do is you can cycle through the different jigs that you use throughout the day. And like maybe this one or that one got 1 or 2 bites, but you're looking for bigger fish or bigger bites or, whatever it is. And so as you're going through the different things that you try, you can line them up. And I don't know, that's just a fun way for me to kind of sort in my brain what the fish liked and not. And I just honestly, I like to keep that always as a clean slate through the day.
No,
And Sarah, I think when we lost you, you were about to tell us, because Josh was saying that it was one of his favorites and he didn't expect it, and that you were going to say that other people liked it as well.
yes, it's gaining popularity. It's like right under the vault. And I think exactly what Josh said, when you first see it at a show or you're kind of looking at it online, you're like, okay, whatever. And a lot of people overlook it. But then once they really start using it, or we'll load one up at a show and they can kind of see how it works, it's really gaining momentum. So it is definitely a product that is outside the box, pun totally intended. And it's something that, I hope everybody at the Wisconsin Ice Fishing Show stops by and looks at it and really gives it a chance because it's pretty cool. Oh, yep. The wallet is the favorite. See, people are loving it.
But Josh, you were not able to decide on one thing. So you did like this, but then you had something else pulled up as well. And this is what I thought you were going to pull up. This is why I'm like,
well, so this is something that I've had a chance to use extensively, and if any of you know me at all,
Yes.
I'm like a plastics file. Like I can't I will just buy fishing plastics just because I like them, and I probably have no intention of ever using them. They just go in up. I find bags, like brand new bags of plastics all the time, just because I buy them and I'm like, oh, that's sweet. I just bought some like it's at South Dakota. I don't even know where they are. But
yeah, I do.
you do. I know. But so I've been able to use the billfold, and it's been very awesome for me. So I've always struggled with keeping all of my plastics straight. Just because like you can put them, especially panfish plastics are easy to fit in the 3700 boxes. Some of the aftermarket boxes, if you put plastics in them, they end up melting the boxes. So that's kind of crappy. The better boxes hold up, but then your plastics tend to get dirty, or they degrade a little bit because they dry out because there's no oil in there. And so for us, we started pouring our own plastics, and we started putting them in the plastic appropriate bags, and which are the same bait bags you get at the store. They're just clear. And this thing holds them super well. And I'm able to sort my baits by type. You can see like right here in the front, there's a sweet little like name tag thing. And so I just bought like 3 more the other night, because I'm going to put like swim baits in one. I'm going to put twisters in one, my bug profiles and my minnow profiles. And I'm going to be able to grab them, and you can just sift through it like a filing cabinet. And then if you need more, then you just like take your tag out, you add 1 to it, and then the next one you put swim bait 2, and then you have a whole nother level of organization you can do for as many numbers of them as you want. So this is like pretty much what my boat looks like.
Okay, now there is a before picture of that. That is actually a professional bass tournament angler who came up to us at the Red Crest MLF Championships, and he purchased them. And he sent me this picture prior, and that I didn't post on here. I think it's on social media somewhere.
he is looking for that. So I'm glad you picked. He's like, I'm going to find that picture.
Yeah, it's on social media. But it literally shows these plastic baggies just crammed in there. You can see the moisture in them. You kind of can read what he wrote on them, and it's absolutely a cluster. And then he sends me this, and he decided to take a marker and write on the top of the mesh. You can kind of see that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was super cool because he labeled them that way so he could see them in his boat. But they have turned into probably one of our top open water items. And I agree. I think they'll slowly start catching on for the ice fishing guys too. And thank you, Doug. I'm glad you stopped by our booth at South Dakota.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people could, especially if people that are like taking so many plastics with them, because for a while, and it's still a great idea. Like guys were taking carabiners and clipping a bunch of bags of plastics, and you going through it. The only issue with that sometimes is that you have to go through all of them, and either the bag wears out the little product holder hole, or you have to like flip all of them around so you can get the one out that you want so you can open it. But it's a great solution if you don't have anything else. This is like that, only like on steroids, and you can throw it in your sled, and it's completely made of mesh, so it never holds water, which is great. And it's just easy. You can like look through it. You can see all of your stuff. It has the zipper. Like one of my favorite things about it is that you have the Velcro on the front to keep it closed. Let me see if I can pull it up here. So you have this Velcro on the front to keep it closed. But then the zipper part, like I went to point
to the screen.
So the zipper part right here, like there's a zipper on both sides, but the zipper pull, so let's go back to this, is also a handle.
Yeah.
So you can like carry like 5 of those things like you're carrying in every single bag of groceries from the car, only to your sled, or to back to the car from your sled.
Sit tight.
No problem. So it's like, I don't know. I've talked about this just as much.
One. Oh. So what he's talking about is that handle right here.
Here, let's
and then what you'll do is, I'm trying to do this with a camera, so bear with me here.
Yeah, it's backwards.
That is the Velcro.
Yeah.
And then see, I just unzipped it just by pulling. And now if I just want it closed for the day, it Velcros. It'll all go. Or, I'm not really good at this camera thing. Sorry, guys. Bear with me. But it's all zipped and it's all right there.
Yeah.
So they've turned into a really cool thing. And I would love to get a poll from everybody listening, because this has been something we've talked about. Hi, Jeremy. It was good to see you too. What do you guys think about making it longer?
Ooh.
Oh, see, yeah, I want some feedback. I want some feedback here.
Well, here's the funny thing is, like, if I'm, I hate to say this twice in one episode because Josh said this before, but this for me was that product that I was like, no. Like, people are going to use that? No. And to be honest, I secretly have residual of that feeling because here's why. Josh and we don't always do things the same. And so Josh, like, he's like, I'm going to try these might be for me. And I'm like, no, I'm like, still okay. And so, but he started using them, and like all of his million baits that he's talking about, that is not a lie. That is not
I had a duffel bag full of them. I carried around a separate duffel bag for my baits.
Well, and in the past, I had always been that diehard person that's like, I am going to take them out of the baggies and I am arranging them into a box. I want to open the box. I want to see the baits, all of this. I am also now at the point where I have too many baits for boxes. It just works out. And when you are a plastics person, you just accumulate them because it's fun to buy them and fish like them. And it's awesome, right? Yes. And so I am now at that point where I am so utterly disorganized plastics wise. And Josh, who still has more plastics than me, is doing just fine. And so I'm at this terrible realization where I've spent so much time. Those aren't for me. Those aren't for me. And I'm like,
get with the program, Emily. Get with the program.
Well, and I'm gonna have to disagree with Justin here, dude. I love you, but it just sounds like you need bigger bags of ice plastics. If you,
I agree. Okay, Justin, same thing.
I have a bunch of bags. We can start filling up for you. Just come over. We'll get
Josh
you.
Josh needs a spot to store his plastic. So Justin is donating his billfolds. I do like though.
Thanks, Justin. If you can't use them for your ice plastics, I'll take them.
Twin City Walleyes, though, said the larger size would be nice. And it's honestly, that's kind of what we're hearing from some of like the walleye and bass guys.
Yeah.
And we'd still keep the small ones. So don't freak out, people out there. But we've just talked about going a little bit longer. So that way you just are taking one larger one, or that was the one that kind of fits in for, now see, now, okay, now. Okay.
Wait, sorry, Justin.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm seeing another one. A smaller size would be also nice for smaller panfish plastics. Okay, y'all need to just be patient. Emily and I have been talking about a solution. How much can I say? Because it won't be out yet, but think book. Just think like a book, and it'll work for your panfish stuff. So just sit tight.
Yeah, I mean, so I think I believe I don't know what the dimensions of the billfold are. I know my bag so it's 9 by 9 by 6. Yeah, so it's 6 inches high and it's 9 across. I use 6-inch plastic worm bags is what we get for our plastics, but I put everything from swim baits to I put all of our ice plastics in it, but we're looking at like, we make our own, so we're putting like hundreds of one body style into one one bag.
Hundreds. He said hundreds.
It is that.
Not that
I'll
many.
count
20.
Make sure that you're not stealing any of them. I have all of my plastics counted.
She's just upset because she doesn't have a place to store hers yet. Because she did not take advantage of the billfold.
But yeah, I think a bigger one would, like, something that would be in like maybe 12 inches wide.
It would be. I think when we measured it out, I'm not real good, but it would be about that, and it would still be the same width and height.
Yeah,
it'd just be a little bit longer.
That would be nice, just because you have when you start getting in, you can, so like a 6-inch plastics bag, like you really top out at a bait size of like 4.5 inches, maybe, just because they're heat seams, and so they're not a full 6 inches wide. That's just the outside dimensions of the bag. So the inside dimensions are a little smaller. So if you're doing a 12-inch case, you could put 10 or 11-inch worm bags in there, and then you could fit like the 6-inch swim baits. 5-inch swim baits would fit a lot better in there. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know if I can agree with you guys for the small plastic ones.
Yeah.
I think you just need to buy your plastics in bulk. That's just my opinion.
Buy in bulk. That's the new hashtag. Buy in bulk.
Easy. Everything is solved now.
But no, and we are, like, Emily and I have had a couple conversations. She'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So we are talking about something for the panfish, the little smaller stuff. So just patience. We can only do so much at one time.
Right? Well, there has to be something
Yes.
new. So Emily, what's your favorite? You haven't even said it yet. All you've been doing is bagging on my picks.
I admitted that you might have a better system than I have. That's
might.
I know.
Did you guys catch that? She said might have a better system.
It is now publicly recorded.
Okay. I feel like one of my favorite for ice fishing has to be the ice rod caddy, but that's too obvious. So we're not going to start there.
But we got to talk about it. it.
I don't think that's obvious.
Then this is my backup favorite, in all fairness, because I do love it though, because if you don't have a rod, then what are you going to do? Like hand line all your fish? Like maybe, honestly, maybe, or maybe you're a tip up fisherman. Cool. Right. Maybe. But I think the thing is, when Josh was talking before about, like, I think you were talking about the greenback of how it fits in the bottom of your sled, but that's how I feel about the ice rod caddy, because what I can do is I can put it in the bottom of my sled and it just keeps everything safe. I don't know, like you said, hard-sided soft cases. I don't know what the magic is that you also stitch into that, but like, I don't know, throw your heater on top, throw your, I don't know, whatever gear. There's a million things that you have that goes into your sled. My dog jumps onto my ice rod case and like literally tries to like snuggle in on top of it. I don't know. And The last thing I have to worry about is my rods. And so, I mean, I guess that's the thing that I'm realizing about and saying this is it's like, oh, it's my backup favorite. Is because honestly, that's how secure I feel with putting my rods in there. It's now become an assumed or like second nature, like, oh yeah, they'll be fine. Like I worry about everything else in the world that's not that.
No, we hear that all the time with this one. We've had people even run this one over, and they said the only stuff that broke was in the pocket on the outside, but their rods and reels were fine. On our YouTube, there is actually a video. Tim Moore from out in New Hampshire, he talks about before he ever came on staff with us, he literally ran his ice rod caddy over, and he called and he was talking to me about it, and he's like, everything's fine. And I was like, that's what should happen. But so this one started with there's 3 sizes, and the small was the OG version of this that sat around for the 30 years and kind of is what it is. We did have a shorter version. So some of you out there in the land might have the shorter, I want to say it was like 34 inches or something like that. Obviously, the ice rods are getting longer. They still are shorter. Some people still prefer that, but we have to be able to accommodate those longer ones. So we took that original one and we made it, yes, made in the USA. We love that too. But we took it and made it up to 41-inch rods, can fit in these. And then everybody's like, just like Emily, they're like, well, how about I want to hold more? So we went a medium and a large. And the medium now is probably our best seller out of this series right here, just because it's not too big, not too small. It's just that nice, perfect size for everything.
Well, and I do, you say that you like to put it at the bottom of the sled. I personally think, as somebody that packs like a lot of the bigger stuff up, I like to set it on the sides of my sled, and it makes almost walls, and you can stack stuff in the middle, and it just fits in there. Like you said, the medium is just like a perfect size. I was actually looking at getting a couple of smalls to use as travel rod cases, because these are most of the stuff is TSA appropriate, right?
Yes, you brought up a very good point that it is TSA compliant. And by that, it is a hard case because of the ABS plastic. And all of our zippers come together on most of the compartments on the majority of the cases to put a TSA lock through them. I can say these have flown from out here in the Midwest to Cascade from quite a few people that have gone out there. We've also had some of the Canadians, they like to do that for going into those lakes. They'll hop on their little puddle jumpers, go into the lakes, they'll fly with those. So they've done very, very well, commercial, airlines, and private.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that was something that popped up on our recent trip out of the country. I'd really like to get some travel rods built up, and these cases would work for that application too. Again, cross-seasonal application for all this stuff. It's really awesome that we can just use Lakewood stuff all year long.
And I'm going to do a little secret, which now I'll probably have like black helicopters swarming me with black SUVs. But these do really well as AR cases as well. And clips in the pockets in the front. And what's nice is a lot of people will put these under their beds, and people kind of just don't know what they are. So yeah. Side note. And now we're going to be shadow banned, and I just ruined the views on the video. So sorry.
So what Sarah's talking about is there's pockets on the front here. I have a love-hate relationship with those pockets because they're just so convenient to throw all of your stuff in, and by the end of the ice season, it's like a junk drawer. And I don't know what's in there, but I know all of it's in there, if that makes any sense. Yeah. And so it just is like, oh, I need a spot to put it. And so it's like, oh, it's like an old sandwich Ziploc baggie and this fillet knife and this like jig box that I've been looking for a month and like all kinds of stuff. But then it's like, it's never just out. It's there. I just should clean it out more. It just is it's a great ad. Honestly, I do keep a lot of like line, extra line. I keep some of our auger accessories in there. So like the um stake driver I'll keep in there, and I'll keep like an extra like the safety view flange for our razors I'll keep in there. Just a couple extra parts, some spare bolts and stuff. Just things that you wish you would have had on you. It's always on me because I never go ice fishing without rods.
It's like
I
the
go,
junk drawer in your kitchen. It literally
yeah,
has everything.
yep. So that's that.
Okay, but Emily, what was the true favorite?
Well, okay. In all fairness, though, my mind was a little bit still stuck open water. And because I
Just
was
do
gonna
it.
say, when I think of Lakewood and when I think of my very favorite product in the world, it is that Magnum Top Shelf
I
tackle.
knew it. I knew it.
It just is. But there is an ice fishing version, and I also know and love it. And so we're coming to ice season. So there is the
Yeah.
mini mag, and
Yeah, those.
it's like the same thing, except for it is better for my ice fishing gear. It's not that I have less ice fishing gear, it's that all of it is smaller, right? Even if you're fishing walleyes, it's still all a little bit smaller. So the mini mag is a small version, and look at that. It just fits all your little boxes. It has pockets all over the place, and it has what is called that top shelf. And so when Josh was talking about the junk drawers, the pocket
Yeah.
of that other bag, and it's like, okay, I appreciate a lot. I honestly really appreciate that Lakewood goes through and there's foam in the top of this box. And so if you fish with spoons, if you want to organize your stuff or whatever, you can put everything in all these little slots and it's great. It is fabulous.
Mhm.
It is awesome. I will be honest with you. The first thing I do is I take that thing out.
Yep.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If you
Yep.
need an extra one, you let me know, right? But because that top shelf is my organizational compartment. Like you call it junk drawer, I call it like out of control sanity go-to spotters. I don't know, like when you're fishing and it's like, I need extra line, that's where I put that. I need my tweezers, that's right. Or like forceps, bluegill swallowed it, or I don't know, all of your things. I put all of my
All your
things
things.
in
All
that
the stuff
top.
and things just go up on the top.
But it's hard to describe, but like everybody at home knows, like, what are the things that you just need to grab? Because especially when you're ice fishing, the other thing that you need is a place to put that. And that is why you end up with things like junk drawers, right?
Mhm.
Is because there's like ice
can't put
and
it
a
on the
hole,
ground.
right?
Yeah.
Like, like
You'll
it
lose it.
sounds stupid to describe it because we know where I'm going. But when you have a place that is like a safe, confined like storage, I don't know. I just love everything about this. I'm like speechless. I love it so much.
Well, and what's super nice with that too is when you're in your hub, ice house, or you're just even out there, under the nice sunshine, it just sets down kind of like that photo there, where it'll just set down on the ground. You open it up, all your utility boxes are horizontal. So you just pull out kind of what you need wherever you're at. And it's just super, like, it's just a very convenient box. Very convenient. It does very, very well as back of the tailgate right there. Everything's just set up and ready to go.
Well, and I hope I'm not wrong on this. Is this one of those cases that if you zip it up, it actually floats?
It is. So anything, and I mean anything that doesn't have mesh to it, because common sense, which is not so common anymore, but if it has mesh, it's not going to float. But anything else, once it's zipped up, they will float when they are fully loaded. That includes our big, heavy musky boxes. That includes this case. It includes our ice rod cases. Not that you really want them floating during ice season, but you never know. The bow cases, gun cases, those will float as well.
Well, and I think exactly what you're saying is exactly what I mean, is because nobody wants to be in a situation where there's any kind of anything floating in ice season other than the ice. The ice is the only thing that gets to float, right? But I think, hopefully nobody is encountering that worst case scenario. But if you do, right, the only thing worse than being in freezing cold water is losing gear in freezing cold water. And so if you have something like your rods can float or all of your tackle, you're not having to replace every single jig or plastic that you've gathered, that's really huge, important things.
Yeah.
don't use it for flotation, right? Like have a float suit,
No.
have your picks, have your safety gear, right? But that's the thing is when you know that you as an angler, as an outdoorsman can be safe, then you're able to then also worry about your gear. And I just love all of that. You know, I can go out on the ice and just know it will always be there with me.
Yes, yes. So no, we've got lots of stuff. I know we didn't even touch on the tip-up case, so that's another good one. So definitely don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. No, it's good. It's good. I don't want to bore the people. And besides, they got to come see me at a show, right?
We'll go look at the tip-up case.
But yeah, the tip-up case is a pretty cool backpack style. Throws your tip-ups in. Once you get out there, you actually sit down on the case. You can use it as your stool while you're jigging. We've kind of got something for everybody. So definitely come and check us out.
I couldn't have summed things up better than that because otherwise I'm going to want to keep talking about it.
No, and I think that's how we met you the very first time. Do you remember that? You came and sat on the ice, the tip-up box, the ice pack, and you were like, "What?
Shocked.
What?"
Well, and we bought that one, and we have that in our basement still. We have plans for it, but we ended up moving, but there's still plans for it.
Josh has plans for his plastics. He's got all sorts of plans.
I have all kinds. Look at me. I'm in my computer chair. My little evil cat. I got all kinds of plans.
We need to get you a Lakewood that'll hold the cat there. Keep the cat protected. We'll get you a house.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I know that we are definitely looking forward to seeing you at the expo. I'm really excited that's still coming up. Lots of things on my, I was going to say to-do list, and that's not true. I'm on Christmas list, but they kind of feel the same when it comes to fishing gear, right?
Right.
Gosh, I guess I feel like this show, it just started. We have so much more to talk about. That's why I'm flustered. But a whole hour has gone by. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, no, thank you, everybody. And yes, I saw the quick little comment. We will be at the St. Paul show, but come see us at the Wisconsin Ice Fishing Expo. We are so excited about that show. That's right. I was going to point, but I don't have that cool banner, but like over there. No, it's the first year of that show. They are doing a phenomenal job with that. And we are all very excited. Any of you that come out in the spring for their open water show, they do a great, great job. I believe, so correct me if I'm wrong, parking is still free at the new venue for the Ice Fishing Expo. And I mean, you're just going to be able to see everything. So I hope to see people there at St. Paul, because I know a bunch of you keep saying St. Paul, but I'm like, come see us at Wisconsin too. And if you can't get to any of the shows, we're online.
We have food trucks.
Food trucks? Nobody's ever had a food truck.
We're the only expo that has food trucks.
Oh, what kind of food truck?
I don't know if we brought that up yet.
There's a list of food trucks on the website.
We have a taco
icefishexpo.com. Yeah.
And
taco done.
Pizza one. Oh, we got all kinds of them, I think.
That will be amazing because it's so hard to find good food. I know from being on the road for 5 months for trade shows. I mean, you get sick of the same like concession food. So that just made me really happy.
It'll be awesome.
Oh my goodness. And I mean, I guess we look forward to bringing all of that to everybody who is joining us at home. But hopefully you'll be able to join us at the expo and we'll have no one at home to bring this expo to. That would be really funny. You just all be there. Nobody to watch the videos. That would never be. But for everyone who did join in tonight, you guys are always a ton of the fun. So thank you so much for all your comments and questions and things along the way. And definitely looking forward to seeing everybody on next edition. Yeah,
on the Thanksgiving edition of the Night Bite. Night, everybody.
Thanks.